For those of you who earn your money in American dollars, traveling to Brazil has never been as advantageous as it is right now, guys. And why is that? Well, last December, mid-December to be more specific, the dollar had a surge and it reached the level of 6 reais for a single dollar, and it hasn't gone down as of yet. We're going to talk about what's going on exactly, and some people are speculating and saying that the reason the dollar is so high is because Brazil is part of the BRICS, and this alliance with countries like China, Russia, and India, for instance, hasn't been good for the Brazilian economy. Is this really what's going on? Let's talk about it after the intro. Hello guys, how are you all doing? Guys, if you follow the dollar rate compared to the Brazilian real, you can see that the Brazilian real has been losing the fight very much in the past few months. Well, there were times that a dollar was worth a real. So it was 1-for-1. And I'm talking about 1993, maybe 1994, when real was established, actually 1994, when real was established as the official Brazilian currency. I remember for a period of time, $1 and $1 was basically the same. Actually, there was a time period that the real was stronger than the dollar, but just for a time period. I think 87 cents of a real bought $1. And then it stayed 1-for-1 for a while, and I remember that Brazilians traveled to the United States a lot, especially Miami, to do their shopping, to buy property. So going to the United States was very favorable because it was not so expensive. Well, as it was expected due to the strength of the American economy, eventually the dollar got stronger and we needed 2 reais and 2.5 reais to buy a single dollar. Well, for some people, and I heard a lot of people complain about that. They would say, oh man, I remember when the dollar was 1 real, so it was easy for us to travel. So people complained, but they didn't imagine what was going on, what was about to happen, to be more specific. And they were in paradise and they didn't know. Because even 2.50, it was a tremendous advantage traveling to the United States or buying things from abroad. Well, fast forward to 2025, right? And what is the situation now? Well, first of all, at the end of 2024, remember guys, we have a new government, the Lula government, the President Lula government. They've been here for 2 years now. At the end of 2024, there was a big dollar surge, and I have the numbers here. To be more specific, on November 6, guys, the dollar rate was $1, 5.67 reais. Well, reaching 5 reais was already unprecedented. I myself never thought I would be seeing this one day. And I even told some American friends that I have that they needed to take advantage of the opportunity of having a dollar 5 reais. So because you basically have a 5-time firepower for every single dollar that you have when you come to Brazil. So buying a property, buying things in Brazil suddenly became more simple, right? So I was wrong when I said that, well, with this new government, based on the experience we have on having Lula for 2 mandates, the first 2 mandates he had in Brazil a long time ago, they were great, but the scenario was different, of course. But he did the basic things, the basic economic agenda, and he was able to keep things flowing in Brazil. So Brazil was flying high, BRICS were created, and Brazil was very significant. I remember President Obama calling Lula the guy, the great guy, because Brazil was on the spotlight.
This is my man right here. Love this guy. The most popular politician on earth. Right?
Wherever you went, people were talking about Brazil. Well, even Lula himself expected to repeat the same success, but the scenario is different, the situation is different. So what is the situation now? On November 6th, the dollar rate was R$5.67. This is how much you got for a single dollar that you brought to Brazil. Suddenly, on November 26th, 20 days later, the dollar was 5.80. Already incredible, because almost reaching R$6, nobody thought this could happen. And then on November 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, the dollar rate was R$6.20, guys. R$6.20. Sometime in mid-December, the dollar reached $6 and didn't fall back anymore. Well, by the basic experience that I have on economics and the chunk I've seen on economics in this country, I remember when the president was Fernando Henrique Cardoso, the father of real, the currency. Whenever the dollar was going up, they would sell their reserves, because Brazil has a lot of money in dollars, in reserves. So they would go to the market and say, hey, I have $1 billion or $100 billion to sell, and this would put the currency down. Well, Lula has tried this twice. They have sold a lot of dollars. I don't remember, maybe, I'm gonna put the right numbers right here for you to see. And what happened? Well, the dollar didn't retreat very much. It went back to 619, 609, something like this, but it did not return to the level of R$5 that unfortunately we got accustomed to seeing, right? Because even R$5 is a very bad scenario. So I'm recording this video now on January 8th, okay, 2025. And what is the situation now? Well, the situation now is the dollar is R$6.10. It's still very high, but R$6.10. What is the explanation, guys, that we can have for this? Is this because Lula has been associating himself and the country with countries like China, Russia, or even, as some people said to me, that the problem is that Brazil and China were negotiating in another currency? Well, let me explain that very clearly. Brazil, China, Russia, India, the BRICS, South Africa, they were discussing about having another currency. Even President Lula said that having the dollar as the only international currency for you to negotiate is not a good thing, because it's just favoring the United States, right? I think, no, actually Lula believes in a multilateral, in a multipolar international scenario, and he thinks there is a space for more other than just the dollar. Well, this was just a plan. If you read the news, you will see that Lula proposed this idea. But guys, one thing is to propose and the other thing is to put in practice. How many plans do you guys make, and the execution is much more complicated. For you to topple the dollar is not that simple. Okay, so they are not negotiating in another currency as of yet. It was just a plan, right? Especially when we talk about the bloc, they wanted to negotiate in another currency. I think to remove the power of the United States over their economies. But it's not happening. So this cannot be an explanation, especially because the BRICS were not created yesterday. The BRICS were created a long time ago when President Lula was the president, probably 2004, 2005 or something like this. Then again, I don't remember the date, so I'm gonna write right here the specific date for me not to be saying anything wrong. But I want you to understand that this cannot be the explanation for that. So there are a few explanations. I have studied and read the newspapers, and what are the explanations that I have come across? Well, one of the explanations is President Trump won the election, and he favors a more, how can I say that? He favors a more protectionist agenda, right? So inflation might rise in the United States, and with that, the interest rates to control the inflation internally. So is this favorable for investors? Of course. I'm gonna ask you guys, which are the best documents or titles for you to invest in the world? And the answer is the United States Treasury bonds. So if we know that the United States economy is the strongest in the world, and when the interest rate is high and you are an investor, you're going to pick up your dollars away from Brazil, or you're going to take it out of Brazil and you're going to invest them in treasury bonds of the United States, because you know the American government is pretty reliable. They will pay you everything back, and they will pay you with very high interest rates. So the higher the interest rates, the more attractive the treasury bonds of that country becomes. So if you compare the American economy and the Brazilian economy, there's no comparison. We're talking about the first economy in the world and probably the eighth, the ninth economy of the world, which is Brazil, which is already really good, but we can't compare with the trillions of dollars of the United States. So this is one of the explanations. Second thing, guys, internally, this government has the fame, or is well known for spending more than he makes. So Lula's government tends to spend a lot of money, and they don't show the investors in Brazil how they're going to deal with this internal expenditure. So it's like they're using the credit card, and they probably won't have money to pay when the bill comes. So if you are an investor and your money is inside a country like this, how are you going to trust the government will be able to return your money? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick up your money and you're going to take it out of Brazil and go to places, to markets that are more favorable, as I said, the United States of America. So basically there is a combination of factors, and none of them has any relations with the BRICS, okay? At least as of yet. But everything is because of internal expenditure. They spend a lot of money, the ends don't meet, and when the government comes out to present a solution, they don't present anything plausible. So the last package announced by the minister, the Minister of Economy, which is Fernando Haddad, was not sufficient to contain the optimism of the investors in Brazil. So the money is flowing out. We have a bleeding in the country. The dollars are flowing out, especially because this government does not show any seriousness when it comes to the way it's going to deal with the financial hole. They have created a hole, so they don't show any plausible alternative countermeasure to contain the flowing of these or the expenses that they're making. Okay, what happens now? Well, if the situation persists, I don't see any solutions but the dollar going up. May God not allow this, maybe until 10 bucks. So I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know how serious this government is this year to contain this problem. But if you are a foreigner and you make dollars, this is your moment. I always say that, and it's not only because I sell apartments here in Brazil for foreigners, but this is your moment. Even if you don't buy with me, it doesn't matter. This is your moment to come to Brazil. This is your moment to consume the country, to spend your money here, because if you have 100 reais, you're going to have 610 reais, right? 100 reais, you're going to have 610 reais today. This is a lot, right? If you have 1,000 reais, you're going to have 6,100 reais. So it's just crazy how powerful the dollar is. And if you make pounds, Don't even get started about pounds. If you make euros, the pound is the number one. I think a pound is 8 reais and 70. So if you are from Great Britain and you make pounds, what are you waiting for? Come to Brazil. Brazil is for sale. Actually, Brazil is on sale for you. Come and consume. I hope I have brought some light, I hope I have shed a light into the discussion, and I hope you have enjoyed this content. If you did, please make sure you smash the like button. This is the only way you make this country, you make this BU Nation, yes, you make this channel grow. So please smash the like button. Another thing I want to ask, we have a secondary channel called Portuguese with Mark Saint. So if you want to learn Portuguese, it's the beginning of 2025. I have a very fast course. It's just 17 months from zero to fluency. Go check it out. Go to Brazil. Go to Portuguese with Mark. Go to Portuguese with Mark Saint here on YouTube and also on the other social media, Instagram. And check our course out. You're not going to regret it. I've been able to teach Portuguese for a lot of people. So I'm also leaving 2 cards right here. I'm gonna leave this one. This is an interview my friend Neo did with me where I tell the story of my life and how things came to be. And this card right here is the story of Santos Dumont and the creation of the airplane. I hope you enjoy these videos and I hope you can binge watch more videos when you're done with them. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye, guys.